Hey guys, this is Amber. Just wanted to remind you, if you love Will There Be Cake, don't forget to rate and review it. Welcome to another episode of Will There Be Cake. I'm your host, Amber Simpson. With me, my co-host, as always, Robert Lamb.
Thank you.
And joining us again, our lovely guest, Travis Brixis. Thank you, Travis, for being here.
No worries, thank you.
Wonderful day.
Yeah. Now,
I wish
before
it was
this podcast, Travis was like, I love BMX. I love the movie Titanic, and there's just something about that state of Alaska, that up north state that's separated from the continental U.S. that I just love, right? Is that what you were saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love
And
how
I'm
the
glad-
gold rush started up there.
Yeah, that was the thing, is like just all those facts, and I was like, you know what? You would be perfect to celebrate this magical day on June 28th.
I wish it was like a little colder in this day of
Yeah, it's weird that it's
celebration.
like in the summer.
Yeah. Well, so when I was doing my research, there's another Alaska Day that takes place on October 18th. And that's actually when the formal transfer of the territory from Russia to the U.S. took place. And there was like the raising of the U.S. flag and all that was actually October 18th. But the reason that we have the National Alaska Day, which is today, June 28th, is because the National Day calendar began celebrating each state in the order that they entered the Union, starting in the week of Independence Day and ending with Hawaii. So it just landed June 28th, I guess. But that started, they did that in 2017. So it hasn't been this national holiday of June 28th for that long, really.
It's only 2 years, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Two-
Alaska is
3 years.
the largest state
Yeah.
to join the Union.
Oh, nice. I don't really know a lot. I've been to Alaska.
Have you been to Alaska?
Yeah.
Did you walk there?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I thought about it, and then I realized that the northernmost point of Alaska, because I was like, I'll go to the northernmost point and go all the way to Key West. But it's like from Alaska to Washington was almost as long as Washington to Key West. It was like another over 3,000 miles. I was like, no, and it's in the cold, and there's like wild animals everywhere. No, thanks. There's not even roads everywhere.
So
I'm like,
what'd you
nope.
do in Alaska?
I went on a cruise. It was like I left out of Vancouver, went up to like Ketchikan and Juneau and all those, and it was cool.
Did you meet Drake when you were in Vancouver?
No, I didn't see him driving around. I think we were only in Vancouver for like a day, and then left out of there, and then I did some excursions, walked on a glacier, took a helicopter up to the glacier, walked on it, and then went whale watching, saw humpbacks feeding and stuff. That was cool.
Nice.
You see any killer whales?
Yes, just two of them as they like were next to the ship. They were like kind of breaching the water and then going back under.
That's
I saw a bunch of
badass.
seals too. It was cool because there's like little, like just like little icebergs like kind of floating like next to the ship, like really small ones. But every once in a while there'd be like just a seal laying on one, like as it floats by.
So if it's small up top, it's gigantic below the water.
Yeah, but I don't think it was like huge, like super huge on the bottom. Like, because you can kind of see through the water. The water was like pretty clear, and you could see like underneath it. They're just like chunks of like what was falling off of the glacier and stuff. Because we did go next to, I forget what the name of it was, but you see like chunks of the ice falling every once in a while, which was cool.
Nice.
I wanted to go kayaking up there, but never got a chance to.
Do they do that there?
Yeah, there's like, because our friend Mike Lenhart, him and his wife went up there and they did kayaking. But the only thing is, like, I'm kind of scared about kayaking where there's like orcas and all that kind of stuff. Not that they're gonna do anything, but just seeing a huge
Haven't you
whale
seen that
underneath
video?
me. Yeah, where it breaches and lands on the kayak.
No.
Oh, which one?
The latest video, some lady was swimming
Oh,
out in
yeah.
open water, and like
they're right next to her.
3 orcas were just following her.
Yeah, she didn't know.
Yeah.
She couldn't see it, but the drone caught it. They're like literally like right next to her.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but she's just swimming. I don't remember where that was.
She was swimming?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was like, I don't know what, just like along the coast. She was just swimming back and forth.
Weird.
But I don't remember. I think it was another country though.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, that would be scary.
I would never think though, like an orca is a killer whale, you know, like
I mean, they don't hunt
a
humans.
deadly, lethal animal, you know, like.
But they kill seals, and I just feel like I'm the size of some seals. So, like, I mean, I don't think they would go after me because it's just like great white sharks. Like, they eat seals too. They don't normally go after humans. It's just they get confused sometimes. You know what I mean? Like,
Mainly because we're on our paddle boards.
yeah,
Or
we look
surfboards.
like, and we're just, yeah, we have like our little flipper hands, like kind of
Yep.
going with it, and it just looks like a
They're also
a seal.
attracted to bright colors.
who, whales or
Sharks.
sharks? But we wear. I mean, you wear like
And blood, right? Is that a real
yeah,
thing?
yeah. They can sense blood, like a drop of blood. That's the problem with sharks. Is like I always thought, like if you get bit, a lot of times they say the shark will like let go because it knows you're not the food source it wants.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, but by that time I'm already bleeding out. It's gonna come
Right.
back because it's gonna smell the blood.
But think about all the shark attacks on humans. How many shark
I
attacks
often do.
where the shark actually ate the human?
Yeah, it doesn't happen often. Most of the time it's like
Everyone
one bite.
comes out of the shark attack.
Yep.
Whether or not they proceed to live on afterwards
Yeah.
Right.
is a different story, but they all come out of the shark attack.
Yeah, because they don't eat the whole. Because most of the time, that's the problem. Is like with a great white shark, if it bites you, there's a chance it could just take off your legs because it's just got a huge mouth, but it didn't want to eat you, kind of thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I feel the same thing about like orcas. Like they might not want to eat me or something like that, but they do like to play and toy with their food. That if there's been some videos like at SeaWorld and stuff where they just grab the trainer and bring her down to the bottom. Like if they bring me down to the bottom of the ocean, my head's gonna explode. Like I don't want to deal with that either. You know?
I don't want to deal with that. That doesn't sound
So
fun.
I'm just saying, like, eat me or not. I just don't want to. I just want to die in any way. So,
Did you see any mooses?
No, I didn't see any
Meese?
mooses. I don't think that's
Any
the
moose?
plural, is it?
I think it's just moose.
It's just moose, right?
yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't see any moose.
Oh,
I know. I didn't see any bear either.
Any bear.
Any bears.
bears.
I was on the moose kick. I'm trying not to pluralize everything. Yeah, I didn't see any of that stuff. Just seals, whales.
You didn't see
Bald
any
eagles.
Kodiak bears.
No. I saw bald eagles, a lot of them in the trees.
I've only seen one bald eagle in my life, like out in the wild.
Really? Where? In Florida?
Yeah.
I saw one in Key West.
It was actually in St. Pete Beach.
Nice.
Nice.
They do come. Yeah, I was surprised when I saw one in Key West. That was on my walk. I was like, wow, I'm like, is that a bald eagle? Like, I was
Should've
like,
took a
in the
picture.
Keys. No, I didn't, but I asked one of the guys who lived there. He's like, yeah, we get them every once in a while. They come down like pretty far south. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I thought they stayed up north.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think I saw one at Boyd Hill Nature Park one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. I mean, the wildlife in Alaska is pretty cool. Like, there's a lot of, I didn't see any wolves or anything either, but I don't know if I went at like the prime time to like see those because I think
Was it like
remember when I went.
daylight or nighttime?
it was daylight. It was daylight for most of it. And then like the cool thing was they said that normally it rains a lot up there, but when I went, it only really rained one day. But they said normally it's not like a hard rain. It's just kind of like this light drizzle, cloudy kind of rain for a long time, which is kind of what happens in Washington and all
Right.
those kind of northern states.
And
too.
the UK.
yeah, that's true.
I don't
Anything
know
like
why
the up
anyone
north
would
and
want to
stuff,
live in the UK.
where it's just cloudy all the time.
Yeah,
No.
that doesn't seem fun.
But other than that, like, I mean, I don't really know anything about Alaska other than we just found out when it became a state.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot about Alaska, but
I mean, we don't have
it's
to go
not-
through all the
I'm not going to go
history.
through it. It's not that entertaining. I mean, you could celebrate by watching some documentaries about Alaska.
Yeah.
You could go to Alaska.
Go on a trip to Alaska. Plan
Yeah.
your trip today.
If
to
you
to
go
Alaska.
if you go on the other Alaska Day where they are celebrating in Alaska on October 18th, they do like a whole bunch of stuff. They have a 3-day festival with like a costume ball, dance performances, races, a concert, an army band, an air sea rescue demonstration, all kinds of stuff.
It was funny when I
Sounds
went.
fun.
Doesn't Alaska have the biggest Coast Guard
Yeah.
thing up there?
Yeah, there's an open house on board a Coast Guard cutter or naval vessel, so you can like board one.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I remember when we were doing like a tour through Juneau at one of our stops, like on the cruise. One the lady who was doing like the tour, she's like, there's this biker group that like they live in Juneau and stuff, and they go biking along the highway. But the problem was like the highway only extended so long because it didn't connect to like any other cities. So they're like, yeah, the biker group just travels along the highway one way, and then they stop, and then they turn around and come back, and like that's what they do. I'm like, what? Like, how is that fun? Like the same scenery all the time. It's not
All
like
they can
traveling
do.
across the country on a bike. But I think they have more roads now that connect
Probably,
certain cities. I just don't know. Like if you ever look at Alaska, I mean, Alaska's huge, and most of the cities are along like the coast.
Right.
But it's like it's crazy, like how big. I mean, you said it's the biggest state or whatever, right? So I mean,
It's
Yeah.
bigger than Texas.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's the biggest one. I've heard that too. That's crazy though.
So let's talk about famous people that are from there.
Okay, Sarah Palin.
Is she?
Yeah, I think so.
The-
She was talking about like shooting moose from her helicopter or something like that. And
What
that
the
pissed
fuck?
people off.
Okay.
Yeah, a
Singer-
long time ago.
Sing-
Shooting moose from her helicopter.
Yeah.
Singer songwriter Jewel.
Oh yeah, she was meant to be.
She
Yeah.
was
Meant to be.
meant.
What's the
I
song
don't-
she sings? I don't know.
I don't remember. I know what you're talking about. Model Holly Madison. Writer Margaret Elizabeth Bell. Basketball star.
Holly Madison. She was a playmate.
Yeah.
Nice.
Carlos Boozer. Baseball star Kurt Schilling.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. Not many people.
How much comes out of Alaska?
So
That you remember Michaela? I think you met Michaela. She worked at the theater. She took my place when I left. She went out drinking with us a couple. I think you
yeah.
met her.
Yeah.
She's from Alaska.
Oh really?
Yeah, and she moved back there. She has a job there. I don't know what she does, but she's always like wearing like
My jeweler
Big
lives in
boobs.
Alaska.
Your
Your-
jeweler?
your jeweler.
I think we both said the same thing. Your jeweler. He lives in Alaska. She lives in Alaska.
Yeah. So
How did you meet her? Did she come down here?
I met her through one of my exes.
Oh, okay.
She used to live down here, and
It was too
her
warm
and
for
her husband moved up to Alaska because he's part of, I believe, the Air Force or the Navy.
Oh, okay.
So if I ever want to like buy any jewelry, like a couple years back, I bought black diamond earring studs,
Mhm.
and I just messaged her. She shipped them to me. I looked at them. I liked them. Deposited money into her account.
That was it.
Nice.
That's how that works. That's pretty good.
That's pretty awesome.
I mean, Alaska is like a really pretty state. Like,
Yeah,
if you
I
love
would.
nature,
I
and
would
stuff,
love to
like,
visit
it's-
at some point. So how long is the like? Because it's like night for like.
I don't know.
a
I don't know
long time,
how
right?
that
Yeah.
place. Yeah.
6 months on, 6
Okay.
months off.
That's crazy.
But I honestly don't think it's the way you
Yeah, I don't think it's
like us see nighttime here.
Yeah.
It's more lit up.
Yeah, I think
than
it's still like
actual
kind of
pitch
brighter.
black.
Yeah, it's not like dark.
That's probably just like a,
And
like
you-
a rainy
You also
day.
get like the northern lights up there, right?
Yeah, that's why I want to
Yeah.
go because the Northern Lights are there like an average of 243 days a year,
Oh shit.
and I really want to. That's like on my bucket list is
That's
seeing the
basically
Northern
year-round.
Lights.
yeah, they
Yeah,
should
right.
just say year round.
Right.
You might miss it like one day or two, 2 days here and there, but for the most part, it's every day. So not to plug, well, screw it, I'll plug one of our podcasts that we do here at Seven Land, which is called Paralyzed, and season 3, which is almost done. Well, no, that it's released now. Season 3 is out, but it took place in Alaska on a cruise, and I kind of just wrote it to mimic kind of my cruise, but I made it like a horror story and everything. One of the things I looked up, though, because I was trying to look up facts about Alaska when I was writing the scripts, I found that like the most people in the United States, most people go missing in Alaska. They have the highest number of missing people in Alaska.
Is it because they go like hiking and
I think a lot of it's hiking and just like disappearances or getting lost and stuff like that. I don't think it's necessarily like kidnappings or anything. I think it's just getting lost. But it's a lot. It's like every year there's a lot. And then I think that one movie that came out with Mila Jovovich a long time ago, like probably like 10 years ago, I forget what it's called, but they talked about like the that thing in Alaska when people were disappearing and then people were mentioning how they were seeing things and people thought it was like alien abductions. But then some people said it was like sleep paralysis and night terrors and stuff. But like people were seeing weird things like in Alaska and they made that horror movie about it. I forget what it was called. The Fourth Kind.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah,
Fourth
yeah,
Kind with Mila
yeah.
Jovovich. I'm pretty sure that took place in Alaska and that was all about like alien abductions and stuff because they have so many missing people. But you figure like how vast the wilderness is up there. It probably is pretty easy to get lost if you're not following a trail,
Oh yeah.
unless you know what you're doing and you've lived out there a long time.
that makes sense.
Oh my God, I'm looking up facts. It's illegal to whisper in someone's ear while they are moose hunting in Alaska.
You're looking up state facts.
Yeah.
They're so,
It's
There's
so stupid.
so many absurd
like, what?
facts per state.
That doesn't make any sense, but okay. Where's what?
I'm trying to look up. Let me see.
There's another one. I forget. Whatever. But yeah, I would love to go to Alaska at some point.
Yeah.
Just don't go hiking.
Just don't go hiking far. I did a couple nature trails while I was there, but they were trails, and I was just like, we just don't deviate from them. And everyone's like, just make noise if you see a bear.
If you see beer.
So if you see
Let
beer,
everybody
make
know.
noise and get party. Yeah, start a party. But never saw any bear. I did want to see a bear, but I also didn't want to see a bear unless I was like on the cruise ship. I don't want to see it while I'm hiking, just in case, because they got grizzlies up there, and those things are
The bitches are
massive.
scary. All right. Well, I guess that like
I mean,
does
for
it.
Alaska-
I mean, if it, I don't
I mean,
know how
watch
you
a
celebrate.
Watch a documentary on Alaska and or plan a trip there, at least.
Read all
if you're
these
going
fun
to.
facts about it. Some of them are really interesting.
Yeah,
To look it up.
cool. That's a good way to celebrate.
Yeah. So do we have a cake on Alaska Day?
I think you have a cake on Alaska.
I mean, I think you should celebrate, even though it's not the October 18th one. You should celebrate. Alaska
state.
joining the U.S.
When did it join?
1867.
1867.
It's a long time ago.
That's a long time.
Sounds like during the gold rush.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like the whole West
Yukon
Coast. Yeah. I mean, I didn't realize that's a century and a half, pretty much. Like, wow.
It's the lowest population density in the nation with one person per square mile. So if New York City had the same population density as Alaska, only 16 people would be living in Manhattan. That's crazy.
Holy crap. Yeah. So that's what I'm
Compared
saying.
to
is-
like 16 million.
yeah.
I mean, makes sense because, I mean, people can't live in a lot of places of Alaska.
Yeah, I was trying to find.
Okay, but yeah, have a cake. Celebrate.
Says more than 2,000 people disappear every year in Alaska.
More than how many?
2,000.
What the fuck?
They don't even seem like they have that many people that, like, if they're losing 2,000, you figured they'd be, like,
It's just
barren
tourists.
in, like, 2 days.
They got to be tourists.
Yeah, they gotta be a lot of tourists.
I think they said, like, that a good majority was tourists, but it also was people who just lived out there and got lost and stuff like that, too. And I think, I'm not positive, and I won't say this, but if you want to, I'm not going to look it up now, but if you want to, listening audience, I believe a lot of it stems from suicidal people too, going out into the woods and stuff.
I think I heard that too.
I think that was one of the things, was a lot of people kind of disappearing that way.
Crazy.
Not positive, but I thought I read that somewhere.
All right. Well, I think
Cool.
that does it for National Alaska Day.
Oh, but you should get a cake shaped like Alaska.
Or just
just-
get like a bear.
Got to
or
have the
something
little
like that.
islands trail.
Yeah,
Glaciers.
yeah, or do a bear or a moose or an orca.
Ooh, yeah, moose.
Cool.
Like moose.
There's a lot of different animals you can do. Or a
Yeah.
bald eagle. Celebrate
Ooh.
America and Alaska in the same day.
Wow.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Travis, for myself and Robert. See you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
This has been a Seven Lamb production.